And just listening to you and Tim talking there, and exchanging messages with fans on social media, if the government, the Premier League, the EFL, the clubs, PFA, LMA, and fans organisations like yourself and the FSA don't start before the start of the season and actually get together and say this pandemic has to be the point for a reset in terms of the appreciation of fans. This is something that I've long felt, but it's absolutely been highlighted going in game after game, talking to Stuart. So I've been to probably about 8 Arsenal games in the last couple of months or 3 months going into the ground, and you see the stewards there, and they're just desperate to see fans back, because you're not simply. I know there's been a shift moving from Highbury to the Emirates, and it hasn't maybe necessarily got that intimacy that the family feel, new fans coming in and all that. But talking to the stewards who were there, talking to the staff who were there, they are so missing fans. I mean, really, it's like they're almost in mourning. And I think it's absolutely shown to clubs, it's shown to players. If I talk to players, they are so missing fans. And not simply the home fans. I talk to Jack Grealish occasionally, and he says, I miss the whole team because they inspire me. He said, I also miss the away fans because they're having a pop at me and I thrive on that. Players are just so missing, and fair play to the Arsenal players and all the players for managing to maintain their intensity in just in an echo chamber. But I think that the people who are also realising it are the broadcasters. The broadcasters, without it, whether you're listening on the radio, whether you're watching on television, the fact it's completely soulless when there's no sound. I know they try and sort of ramp it up with their sort of fake crowd sound, which I absolutely hate. I think it's cheating. I think it's pretending that the country isn't in crisis, that the sport isn't in crisis. I think we have to face that. And I just hope that at the start of next season, that there is a reset in terms of support for fans. I've talked to government about this. I've talked to the Premier League about this. But now is the time that this moment has to be seized. So there is, whether it's 20's plenty, whether it's the price of tickets, whether it's moving kickoff times at the short notice when all you lot have sort of booked your trains. And I mean, I get the last train out of King's Cross. I live near Peterborough, and I get the 23:32, the last train out of King's Cross North. And a lot of fans get on that. If Geordie fans, they drive to Leeds, they get on that train, or they get the train back. I mean, it's a fairly grim train at times. It's known as the Vomit Comet. But you know what? If a game is so slightly late, or delayed or whatever, and VAR, it adds another 5 minutes onto the game, still or VAR, it's an absolute pain if you're booked on that train. So absolutely, fans have got to be properly supported after this last 14 months, which has been pretty grim without fans.
Well said. I mean, there's a few comments that have come in. For me, I was just listening to that and I couldn't disagree with any of it. I mean, I think for a while, I think fans have always thought people take us for granted a little bit. You could argue that we should be paid to go and because we make the product what it is. And I think people are seeing that now, actually, that it is not the same without fans.
Totally, I completely agree, and particularly the overseas broadcasters. If I talk to some of the foreign reporters who are in the ground, and they still, allow, particularly the television people in the ground, when I talk to them, they're just saying it's absolutely a nightmare just trying to sell this to an audience overseas without the supporters, because the fans overseas, wherever they are in the world, they're tuning in, whether they are, expat fans of Arsenal, or whether they just want the drama of the Premier League. A lot of the drama of the Premier League is provided by the backdrop, by the noise, by the crowd, by that atmosphere, by the players bouncing off the crowd. You get the North London derby without support. I mean, it's just, look, it's a game. It's important. There's a jeopardy on it. The players give everything, but it's not quite right. The Germans call them ghost games, and they're right.